Welcome everybody to BQB episode 22. Tonight, special night, Angus and I have our very first guest, Brennan Fielding, brewmaster of Burleigh Brewing Co. And look at that background for those people watching us on YouTube on the brewing floor. So thank you so much, Brennan, for popping on the call and with the public holiday tomorrow on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Angus is wearing a tie for those people who are listening to us on various channels. So he's really lifted the game for us this evening. And in honor of our
Um,
guest, we're drinking Czech Mates, the uh,
Woohoo!
the collaborative brew with Budvar. So
Yeah,
how did
there
you
it is.
how did this come about, Brendan?
Well, I think this was a mutual love and respect for making traditional lagers. It turns out that Budvar, when they started back in 1895, they came up with a method, a very old world method that by today's standard, but they kept to the tradition and keeping the double decoction. And I got wind of this, and we talked, and we, said, what can we do to do something similar to that? And I visited the brewery, and then they came out here and they visited our brewery, and then we started working on a recipe. And of course, our brewery set up. It's actually a twin system. We have a 5,000 liter system, so we can have a 5,000 liter mash tun, lauter ton, and then two kettles to that. And then we have a 10,000 liter system with a mash tun, a lauter ton, and a kettle to that. And so we can use our two mash tuns to do the double decoction, which takes around 4 hours
Yeah,
just to do the mashing. And then it takes the rest of the time to get everything else through.
yeah. I've only ever done it with the single vessel. So having the two systems running, it's a great way of doing it. The
Yeah.
it's such a lovely beer, such a clean, crisp, sort of traditional Czech lager. But the bit that amazes me is you managed to get your hand on some of their yeast.
Well, yeah, they made it available to us, and not only that is we're getting the hops from the region, but also wanting to, on the other hand, to keep it very Australian, and so we're using this special malt that's grown in South Australia, and it's malted to be like heritage malt, so it has a very low degree of modification. And so this is what you would have been seeing 100 years ago.
Mm.
And in more recent times, the degree of modification has risen so that you don't have to do decoction and you don't have to take the longer mashing steps. And it's easier and faster, and step infusion is the way, or single infusion is the way. But you lose nuances in character with the modern. I'm not saying for the worst. I'm just saying you lose these nuances of decoction. And so by doing this double decoction, we get this real bready note, and it gives somehow it influences the how the hops interact with the fermentation, and
Yeah,
we get a really smooth uh, outcome with the hops. And of course, we're using the Czech saws, and a lot of them in every batch.
are they hard to? Was it hard to get all of those ingredients through customs and everything like that as well?
I'll tell you, the saws hops, they're a challenge.
Yeah,
They're giving us a little bit of grief, but yeah, we've have found avenues now.
yeah. I saw. I didn't get to it, and
Sounds illegal.
yeah, yeah. And we called it out on this podcast when we heard wind of it. But you even had a guest pourer, and you had the
Oh
big
yeah,
cream taps and for the launch and everything, and you got your own mugs
yeah,
and
that's right. And here I'm gonna show you one of these. So here's the official Czech Mates mug with the Budvar. It's kind of see hard to see the Budvar, but and then
yeah.
us
Yeah.
on the other side. And
That's cool.
so yes, and these traditional Czech mugs that are very deep and wide. And they normally, if you pour it off the tap, they give you that nice huge collar of foam.
Yeah,
And so we had the world beer champion beer pour from the world from the Czech Republic from 2010, and he came out and poured beer for us, along with several of the other guys that came from Budvar, who were also pouring on the evening.
that would have been an amazing event. That was it's such a cool collab, and the name we instantly fell in love with too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. And moving on, so we know you've been brewing longer, but how do you think Burleigh Brewing has been able to survive for nearly 20 years when other breweries have risen and fallen around you?
Wow, that's right. We're just in 2 weeks or 3 weeks we'll be releasing our 19th anniversary beer.
Wow.
So it's been a long time. It is such a group effort from everyone on the brewing floor who is completely committed to making the absolute best beer that we possibly can, to the sales and then admin and everyone who interacts that comes here to the brewery and sees what we're all about. And then we have a lot of floating taps at the brewery where we bring on special releases, um, like these two, which we can serve in draft, and sometimes we bottle them up.
Yep.
But so that we're always, it's not that we're always evolving, but we're always offering something for everybody. And we started off. I mean, I started off my career in '94 professionally, in a lager brewery, and that's all we did was lagers.
Yep.
Now, for 8 years before that, I home brewed, and I really loved it. Also went to engineering school, but then I got a job in a brewery, and I just said, "This is the rest of my life." And so here we are, 31 years later. Literally, this is my life.
Uh,
And
Fantastic too.
Being a fellow home brewer, I quite appreciate your use of liters when you're describing the your mash tun sizes.
yeah, 5,000 and 10,000.
Yeah, I
Now,
quite appreciated that. I know what that is.
do you use Plato or SG?
We're Play-Doh.
Yep. All real brewers use Plato. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I could have said 50 heck and 100 heck,
Yeah.
but I thought I'd just keep it keep it
Uh,
simple.
And I've
Fantastic.
got to do division in my head as we're talking. I'm like, 50 heck.
Yeah. And these tanks right behind me, you can just see the closest ones to me are 10,000 liters. The ones
Sure.
behind it are 20,000, but then further back in the brewery, we have 30,000 and 40,000 liter tanks.
Wow.
So we have a range of size depending on the popularity of the beer. The bigger brands go into the larger tanks, and the brands that don't move as much go into the smaller tanks.
And I guess one of the fundamentals of your brewery is the slow brewing method. So you need that capacity to be able to have them stay in there for a bit longer too.
Yeah, that's right. And we have 31 vessels that I 31 fermentation vessels. And I haven't calculated it in a little while, and I'll probably get it slightly wrong, but we have about 750,000 liters of fermentation storage capacity. So we really do give our beers, for the very minimum 4 weeks for some of the ales, but we go into 6 and 8 weeks and 10 weeks for some of the lagers. So there's a lot of capacity here.
Mm.
Has that been a struggle with your pricing when you're competing against breweries that are cranking out ales in 2 or 3 weeks total, from start to finish packaged,
You
when you
know,
guys are
I'm not,
aging for a month or 6 weeks?
I'm not so sure because we do have some pretty big tanks, and we can make 40,000 liters of beer in a day. And I think a lot of the other brewers, they go, they can make 1,000 or 2,000.
Yep.
And So we can make a lot more. Our bottling line, our canning line, they go pretty fast. So we can package, well, very quite easily 40,000 liters of beer a day. That's 40 pallets,
Yeah.
40 plus pallets of packaged beer going out.
Do you,
So we have efficiencies built in
yeah.
for you know uh, maturing the beer super cold, giving it a long time in the tanks, doing very traditional, old school, old world brewing methods, and giving beer the time and the respect that it needs.
I love that. Do you find it interesting that a lot of breweries are coming back to easy drinking lagers and away from the IBU wars we had 15 years ago, or even the haze craze we had 5 years ago? Or do you think it's just
Oh,
cyclical or financial
you know,
or
you know what? I almost, it's not that I can't poo-poo those guys for,
yeah,
doing things like that, but
you can.
it
Yeah.
was something that we never got sucked into. You
No.
know, we started off with lagers. We stay with lagers. 75% of our beers are lagers. I mean, but we also do, great fun things like the Black Giraffe. This is like 14 or 15 years, which is a black coffee lager. It's
Yeah.
still around. We still do it every year. And then we do make some great ales as well. But they're, maybe more sessionable
Yeah.
and
Well,
not 6 grams per liter hopping.
yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Some of my favorite Burleigh Brewing beers like Fig Jam and my wife's Bitter, which
Yeah,
isn't a description of Peter. It was actually for her.
that's right. It's a beer I
Hasselhoff,
brew for my wife.
yeah, Hasselhoff. That was great.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I was going to say my first ever Burleigh Brewing beer was Duke at Redlands Strawberry Festival, and I'd never heard of Burleigh before, and that was
Yeah.
'06 or '07, something like that.
Yep. Yep. The
And
Duke
so
Lager.
yeah, and it's just been really interesting to see the whole journey. Angus, you had something there too?
Yeah, I'm gonna run through history of one of your beers, the Hef, which is one of my favorites of yours, and just run through some of the awards that it's won over the years. I'm sure I'll miss quite a few. So, 2010 Queensland Beer Awards Grand Champion,
Yep.
2011 Gold Medal at the World Beer Championships,
Yep.
2012 World Beer Cup Gold Medal for South German style Hefeweizen,
Yep.
tallying up quite a few Germans in that category.
Yep.
And then 2022 Queensland Beer Awards Champion European Style Ale, and
Yep.
then 23 and 25 Queensland Beer Awards Gold Medal, and obviously a bunch of other awards, beers that have been awarded. I think including 6 beers that scored 85 or over in the latest World Beer Championships. So there's obviously um, a lot of awards being thrown around for your beers, and this says to me that you've got a really high performing team who are sticking to your quality and processes. How do you keep people pumped and enthused about brewing like the Hef? I think it's been, was it 15 years now, I think, and like your
Yeah.
Black Giraffe and those sort of older beers where I guess a lot of breweries are cranking out specialties and hazies every week almost, and you got guys brewing a beer that's been in production since 2009.
Yeah. Um, I I don't know. I don't know. I think keeping people pumped is, I don't know if it's a, I don't, I'm not going to say it's a challenge. I think it's, we get passionate people, and a lot of it is in, here's a recipe. Like if you look at the Hef versus, I don't know, one of our lagers, or versus one of the other ales, and it's the execution of that recipe with no faults. And I think that's always, that the goal of any of our brewers is to not throw in their touch per se, but it's to execute it to its real value and potential on how it was created, originally. And the Hef is a duplication of a beer that's been around for 500 years. And so we're not doing anything necessarily new. We're just executing a recipe that the Germans have had in their repertoire for 500 years. And we like the style. And we just brewed it the other day for our Oktoberfest that's coming up. So it'll be back again.
Yeah, when I was thinking some questions, I kind of went through the awards list that had won, and it kind of reminded me of like almost like I don't know if you follow rugby at all, but the All Blacks in rugby, where there's just an expectation from the entire country that it's rugby and they're going to win, and
Yeah.
so that like there must be like there's just so much heritage and history in that beer that there's just an implied responsibility on whoever's brewing it that day to make
Yeah.
sure that it's the same as it was last year and the year before and in
Yeah.
2010 when it won the World Beer Cup. And so that kind of that implied pressure to stick to the recipe and the processes and make sure it's the exact same beer.
Yeah, I think, and I can't thank the team enough for, doing that. And I trust them. I'm not here all the time. Sometimes I'm away and they're doing it and they just come through. And so, you got to love it. Um, so
Sometimes
it's a great,
sometimes
it's a
you're
great
up.
feeling.
Sometimes you're up late at night doing podcasts with two two people too. I had since. Do you find it interesting that all the macro lagers are coming out with zero carbs when Big Head came out in, what was it, 2007 or 2008?
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah, and I know that they use glucose, the enzymes to convert it so all the sugars can be consumed. So there's little to no residuals. Do you do something the same with Big Head, or is there a secret, or did you do something?
Well, I'm not gonna just talk about the exact thing. When I developed it,
Yeah,
when we were the first ones, and I was the one who developed it, it wasn't what we found. It wasn't one thing. It was about 40 things,
yeah,
and it came with, and a lot of people when we opened the breweries, they said, "Hey, do you do a low carb beer?" Because there's a number of low carb beers out. And we said no, but after a while we said, "Hey, we really better look at this." And so I went out and we tasted about 10 or 12 of these low carb beers. And in my opinion, I'm not saying it's everyone's opinion, but in my opinion, they just weren't up to scratch. They were watery, they were thin, they were fake tasting, they were chemically tasting. And I just went, well, I'm going to come up with a beer that tastes like a beer, but then has the lower carb component to it. Turns out we removed all the carbs in the process, but keeping flavor
mm,
and keeping the body and keeping, a beer that tastes like a beer.
yeah. Not having an ultra
Um,
malt bill, etc. Yeah,
yeah, and now we've got people. One of the recent Johnny Come Latelys has said that they invented it about 2 years ago.
yeah,
And another Johnny Come Lately has said they just got an innovation award for for innovating it.
yeah.
And I just go, are you serious?
No,
Uh,
I know it was the first in Australia. Do you know if it was the first sort of worldwide sort of thing?
well, at the time in 2000, and well, I started working on it in 2007. And so at the time, we heard that there was someone in Japan and someone in Canada that had like a version of this. Of course, we never had those beers, and every country slash state has a different determination of low or no carb.
Yeah,
Like I guess the it's either the federal or the Queensland says it has to be below zero point 0.5 of a gram
yeah,
per 100 or something.
yeah,
Or I'm not sure,
yeah,
but anyway, we exceeded that. So
yeah.
and our beer still tastes super delicious.
Oh, and it's in a can now, and it's got a mid-strength version,
Yep,
named after the actual Burleigh heads, their big head. So,
yep, that's
uh,
it.
yeah, that's groundbreaking. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of, you guys, did you get a Japan Black?
We did get a Japan Black.
Yep.
Yep. You got
By
one
the
of
way,
those?
sponsored beers tonight, everyone too.
Woohoo. And then I just,
Yeah,
speaking of the headlands, I just wanted to show you this is one of our newer releases as well, because that's the Golden Point, as in the Burley Point.
Oh, lovely.
Nice.
So I just thought I'd
Yep.
and unfortunately I don't think you guys got that.
No, we got we did get Czech Mates and Japan Black, which we
Yeah.
appreciate. Thank you. So one thing I noticed with Japan Black, unlike a lot of other Japanese lagers on the market, there's no rice. You've used wheat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but you
but
still get that subtle sweetness that the style sort of gives.
yeah, and it's like rice is a tricky thing. We did versions with the rice. Um, I don't know, probably about 4 years ago when we were in development with this. And I think what we just the recipe how it ended up as I think it made everyone more comfortable.
Mm. But that's it.
So
It's crisp. It's clean. Little subtle bitterness, but you still get a bit of that roasty malt. But
yeah.
it's a real Queensland beer. It could be smashable all year round. It's um,
Well, yeah, and it's just we've had it on draft for about 3 years, and we also had it in 500 ml bottles most of that time, and then just a couple months ago we had it come out in the 330s.
mm.
So
I love all the branding too. It's really simple, really straightforward branding too.
yeah,
What do you think of that one, Angus?
as
I
Kampai.
really like that. Yeah, it's
It's lovely.
I mean, yeah, despite its color, I can see that being a real smashable summer beer. And if you can get people past the black equals stout coffee
Yeah,
chocolate kind of thing.
that is a funny thing because I know people still think black equals heavy and stout, and of course this is a black lager, Schwarzbier. The Germans, when they wanted to spread their word of German brewing techniques in the 1800s, they went out to the US, they went to Japan, they went to Mexico, and a lot of those breweries are still brewing German inspired beers to this day. So if you go to Mexico, they still make Dunkels and Schwarzbiers and exports, and then same in Japan. And the breweries are following after those traditions. Even when I was last in Japan, you go to the Kirin Beer House or the Asahi Beer House, and they'll have their version of a Dunkel and a Märzen and a Schwarzbier and an export, and then and the other lagers. So they're really keeping still have that quite dominated German tradition uh, of types of beers that they make.
Yeah. Well, lucky we've got you to fill that gap here, and they're not doing those ones here. Do you still? I know you worked with Kenton from Zarafas, helped setting up the award-winning lager brewery in our own little Logan
Parente,
at Parenti.
Parente, yeah.
Yeah. Are you
I,
still working with them?
oh yeah, absolutely. I go up there every week and I brew there.
Yep.
It's just a great project, and we've done some exciting beers, and so they have a their standard beers that we do, plus then we have four rotating taps, all very lager centric.
Yep.
There are no ales being brewed there,
No.
so we're hitting the nail on all lagers.
Yeah. I know. I was judging at the Royal Queensland. It wasn't this last year, maybe the year before, and the Hellies came through. I think they call it Pure Crisp, and
Yeah,
that
Pure Chris, yeah,
absolutely cracking beer that
yeah,
that was
yeah,
being produced there. Yeah.
yeah. So I
I
got
think
to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think that was on keg, and I think as stewards, when there's a good beer on tap, it's like vultures. I'm pretty sure that one
Yeah.
came through on draft. So yeah, there's a big crowd of people around.
Yeah, they so it was about I'm not trying. I mean, Kent and I had been we worked on Black Giraffe.
Hmm.
Well, how many years ago was that? 14 or 15 years ago, and we've known him for nearly 18 years now. Um, and then the Parente project came around about 7 or 8 years ago. We started working on it then, and nutting out and planning, and then of course, I got to design in all the equipment and the layout of the brewery, develop all the recipes for them, and now I get to go up and be a part of everyday brewing life there too. So it's a great thing.
Great venue they've done there with that failed DFO or what it was going to be.
Yeah,
And
Massive.
yeah, yeah. So it's got a
yeah.
smokehouse and everything there. But yeah, lovely. What did you have anything else there, Angus?
Um, yeah, I was going to ask. So you've got a bit on the side. My wife's bitter, fig jam, Hasselhoff, Czech
Yeah.
Mates. So some really great and clever puns in your name. So just wondering who's in charge of the naming or who's involved, or is that a Friday afternoon, throw some beers on with the staff and brainstorm?
Um, yeah, I think what I think it's whoever gets the best name on the day. My wife's bitter was my wife who named that, my wife PETA. Um, the Hasselhoff was named because it was a hassle getting those 5 hops because 3 of them weren't imported into the country at the time, and we had to try and import hops, which is always difficult on things coming into Australia
Yeah.
that don't normally come in. Um, what was the other one? Hef is just truncated from Hefeweizen because we thought no one's going to know what a Hefeweizen is. So
We'll be able
uh,
to say it.
I know you can't. I mean, even if people know what it means, it will still mess up the word. So
It reminds
so
me of
yeah.
Angus's mustache there is
Oh,
the
yeah, the
trademark
half
on the bottle
moustache.
too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's definitely. We have a very nice mustache. I mean, the mustache always changes a little bit on the Hef bottle, and it's not dissimilar to that one on this next release.
I haven't noticed the moustache changing. I'll keep an eye on that.
It's had a couple versions.
Yeah.
Lovely. And I've got another one that I just thought I'd throw in.
Yeah.
What do you think of the IBA? Where is it heading?
Oh wow.
It's in a
You
Just
know
a
what?
world of pain at
just
the
a soft,
moment.
gentle question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't say with any certainty where it's going or what's happening. I was for me, it was really hard to have so many beer competitions just backed up to each other with the AIBA, um, the Queensland Royal, the Sydney, the Independent,
Yeah.
and then of course Perth and everyone else has their things, and there was a lot of beer comps to try and play with, and so it's kind of nice that they've joined with the AIBA.
Yeah.
So we don't have to do another. Of course, my wife PETA was the chair of that for president for 3 years,
Yeah.
and I thought it grew a lot. We got rid of the big brewers out of that and made it really an independent small brewery
Yeah, because
focus thing.
Craft Beer Association before or something, wasn't it?
Gosh, I don't remember what it was, but
Yeah.
there's everyone was in it,
Yeah.
from Tui's, or not Tui's, but
Lion,
yeah,
Kieran.
yeah, Lion, and yeah, those guys were all in it. And it's like I really don't think they have our best interest at heart, since they're trying to steal all the taps from all the small breweries.
100%.
So, anyway, I was really glad that PETA was instrumental in getting those guys out of it.
Yep.
But now, we had how many? I don't know the number, but we had a number of breweries shut down since the end of COVID.
It was something
So
ridiculous, like 67 breweries have either consolidated, shut down, yeah, ceased operations, or yeah, it was
yeah,
crazy.
it grew from, so when we started Burleigh, I think there's 25 independent operating breweries in Australia, and then it went up to something like 600 or 700,
Yep.
and and I don't know if all of them were members or not, but then it dropped down, and they could have been losing money. I tell you the truth, I wasn't keeping up on who was president or who was running it,
Yep.
so I can't say anything to that.
Yep.
Um,
I'm not asking anything. I just I know you're members, and it's a really tough aspect of we love independent beers, but um,
yeah.
it's in a world of pain, and I don't know what the answer is. With Kylie going over to the distillers, I know they're feeling a lot of similar tax and ingredient burdens as beer producers. Maybe there can be some sort of something to level the playing field up with either the major beer producers or even the wine producers in Australia, just to uh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. I don't know exactly what the focus is on, sorry, how the wine is structured, but it seems like the independent brewers are getting the raw end of the deal
yeah.
compared to wineries.
Wine Australia gets $20 million a year from the government. It's just yeah, crazy. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to throw that tough one at you. I just thought it was interesting to hear your thoughts. So
So
yeah, you
I stay out of politics and
yeah,
I keep into the production of beer.
yeah. No, that's fine. That's the most important part anyway. So what's next for Burleigh Brewing other than status quo?
Well, oh, wow. Okay, that's a good question. I mean, I guess it's kind of like I know we have the Oktoberfest coming up. I think around 5 years ago or 6 years ago, we won again the grand champion at the Royal Brisbane Beer Awards for
Yep.
our Bach beer, and so that's going to be a beer that we'll be releasing right after October. In the early parts of November. So we're doing that again in our 500 ml bottles and on draft, and I'm excited to have that come around again. Of course, Oktoberfest is coming up, so we're brewing multiple um, beers for that, all German influenced.
Hmm.
And we deck the place out, and we'll have the wooden keg, and we'll have the traditional tapping.
Yep.
And we'll have all the beautiful draped canopies of like you'd see in the
Munich's
what do you
coming
call
to the
this?
Gold Coast.
The a fest. Oh, I can't even think of the name. Anyway, the festival halls in Germany. It'll
Yeah,
be
yeah,
it'll be like that.
yeah, like Hofbrau and all of those beer houses. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then I think just recently, and I think that's what our focus was on in the last 6 months, was getting out Golden Point, Japan Black, and Czech Mates
yeah.
was the big focus, and so those have all come to fruition. Everyone's taken a little breather. The Eaton's Beer Festival's coming up this
Yep.
weekend.
Beer Fest this weekend. Yep,
And then of course we'll be at the Crafted Beer Festival here on the Gold Coast.
yep. Yeah, we've mentioned that they've got a big a smoking competition there as
Yeah,
part
that's
of that
that's new.
fest. Yeah, so I haven't been to Crafted, but from a lot of people who I've spoken to, it's supposed to be one of the better events down there.
Yeah, I haven't been to. I mean, 10 years ago, would have not missed a beer festival for anything.
Yep.
But now I think I'm more selective
Yeah.
and and go to less. But definitely, I've been to Crafted a number of times, and it's a big open space. It's well laid out. The I know it may not seem like a big thing, but everything from the toilets to the music is is really well done. So
Yeah,
they
Yeah,
do a good job.
yeah,
I went the first year that it ran, and it's such a good venue, and it's a lot bigger, and I think the open air makes it feel less like a beer nerds convention, and it's more just kind of a good time with the music. And you got the ocean in the background crashing on the
Yeah.
beach. Like such a brilliant venue.
Yeah, it really is. It's a great spot.
Oh well, I'll just finish up and just thank you sincerely for joining us tonight on the brewery floor and
Yeah.
dropping off some beers. Absolutely loved chatting to you. Make sure if you're down on the Gold Coast, pop into Burleigh Brewing just off the motorway on the southern end of the Gold Coast there. And I really appreciate you dropping in and having a chat with us this evening.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'll see you again in person sometime.
Definitely.
Yeah, beer
Cheers.
awards.
Thanks,
Okay.
Steve. Bye.
See you guys.
Yeah.